Okay, now we're recording. So essentially like this, what we're doing, and just to let me emphasize that this should be more of a discussion than just a lecture. Not that I'm going to be speaking for so long anyway, but the point is, if you have any questions, feel free to jump in, raise your hand, interrupt me. This is for you guys. This is not for me to hear myself talk, but it's to give you guys as much guidance as possible to help you feel comfortable in raising money. So there's really two elements to what I'm going to talk about. There's the hashkafa of fundraising, and there's the hadracha of actually how to go about doing it practically. So we'll start with the hashkafa, which is like this. Most people, when you're raising money for something, right? So the number one complaint I get is, but I don't like asking people for money. I'm not comfortable asking people for money. And in most cases, you're right. It's very uncomfortable because essentially what you're doing is you're asking somebody to part with their money for something you care about. And when we look at it like that, it's uncomfortable for us, and it makes it uncomfortable for them because they know we're uncomfortable. And the reason it's uncomfortable is because we're taking, right? Is we're being a taker. We're asking somebody to give us something, so we're taking it from them. And no one likes to be a taker. People want to be a giver. And we want people giving out of inspiration, not desperation. So how do we get people to feel like we're giving to them when by them donating? So the way we do that is by explaining to them the opportunity that they have, right? That we're not taking something from them, we're selling them the opportunity to get scar, right? So in a case like this, all the more so because their contribution is going directly towards your friend who needs that help, right? It's different. Okay, there's you could say, okay, well, if you're collecting for a school or yeshiva, well, okay, there's some peripheral benefit to the people who are raising money. But that's not the case here, right? When you're making a phone call, what you're saying to somebody is essentially, my friend went through this terrible, terrible, terrible situation, and we want her to get the best care she can get. We want her to make a full recovery. So not only am I making my own donation and giving whatever I can, I've taken it upon myself to try to raise $1,000, $1,800, $5,000, $10,000, however much you're trying to raise, to help everyone, hit our overall goal, so that this money can go and giving her the treatment. Because without this treatment, her chances of getting a full recovery or the length of time of getting a full recovery are going to be that much longer. And we want to give her refuah shalema. We want to take every opportunity we can, and in order to do that, we need to raise this money. So it's a totally, totally, totally different ask, because you're not collecting for something, you're not schnorring. You're giving people the opportunity to participate in the mitzvah of Bikkur Cholim, to participate in, giving their meiser to something that's valuable. Everyone has meiser obligations. Everyone values giving tzedakah. It's just a question of where should I give it. And right now, you look at what's going on right now in Ukraine, right? Not to get too off topic, but the point I'm making is when there's something emotional, when there are people that need help, people are reactionary, right? Millions and millions and millions of dollars are pouring in to Jewish causes that are helping and support Ukraine. So all the more so when it's something that's personal, someone that somebody knows, people want to give. People want to feel like they can do something to help the situation. Malka will tell you, we've done a number of campaigns with tragedies of people, chas v'shalom, children being left motherless, and people being in terrible car accidents, and the community, the response, they always want to help. People want to help. They just need to be given the opportunity. And if anytime you think, oh, this is hard, or I don't want to ask somebody, for something, I feel like they're going to, think it's weird. Nobody is going to find it. Nobody's going to be offended. Nobody's going to make you feel bad. Like, oh, wow, what a terrible person. You are asking me for money for your sick friend. No, that's not it's not real. There's no the best case scenario they're going to give because they care about you and because they want to be a part of the mitzvah. Worst case scenario, they'll say, I'm so sorry, just now's not a good time, but it's so amazing what you're doing. Wow, I wish you a lot of success. Nobody's going to make you feel bad. And so when you realize that no one's going to make you feel bad, it empowers you to ask everybody and anybody that you possibly can. So that's the shkafic part. So practically, so how do we go about doing this? How do we figure out what we want to who we're going to approach? So everyone got a volunteer packet, right? The volunteer packet included a script for calling. It included WhatsApp messages that could be used for WhatsApp or email or social media. You can copy and paste those, make them however you want, right? So the idea, first off, is what we call multiple touch points. That means a phone call is obviously best because when you get someone on the phone, it's very hard for them to say no because they're speaking to you, and what kind of monster is going to say no, right? So that's number one. If they don't answer the phone, or if you're having trouble reaching them, or if you really find it uncomfortable to call, so start with a WhatsApp or a text or an email. You have sample templates you can use, you can personalize, and I would say many times we need multiple touch points, right? That means if the email didn't work, okay, then send them a text. And if the text didn't work, then send them a WhatsApp. So the idea is keep trying them. Unless someone tells you no, assume that they're interested until they tell you otherwise. Because frankly speaking, like, we're all very busy. I can't tell you how many times my wife says, hey, can you donate to this thing? And it's like, well, I'm driving, I can't do it right now. Or I'm, my kid needs something, or I get a work call. Something comes up and we just don't get around to it. So unless somebody told you no, like, you keep going, keep asking, keep trying to contact them in whatever way you can. Don't give up. That's number one. So number two is that what we want to be doing is trying to call, message, reach out to our personal friends and family, right? What I tell people, and I know there are people at different ages, different stages of life on this call, but I tell people to think about your simcha list, right? For example, if you were getting married, or if you have a baby, or if you are making a bar mitzvah, you're making a bris, you're making a wedding, whatever stage you're at, whatever simcha you might have, who are the people that you would want to share in your simcha? So as an example, my wife and I, Baruch Hashem, we had our third daughter just a few months ago. And when she was born, we went to the hospital, and I made my list, and she made her list of people we wanted to call once the baby was born, and let people know that, like, must off, we had a baby, right? So that between us, we had probably 125 people. So a few months, just now, about a month ago, my wife was participating in a campaign for a cause that she cared about. And I said, great, take the baby list. And she takes the baby list and she calls, she put a goal of $1,000. She called 5 people. She prioritized who the 5 closest and richest people were that she felt she could ask. And okay, within those 5 calls, she raised $1,000. So she's like, all right. So she upped her goal to 1,800. Then she upped her goal to 3,600. And eventually she raised almost $7,000. Because if we think about when we're making simcha, even who are the closest 100 people to us that we want to invite to that simcha. So if you're close enough to invite them to a simcha, you're close enough to ask them for $50. $50 is not a tremendous amount of money, which means everybody can raise $5,000. It's just a matter of putting in the time and the effort to be willing to do it. So the idea is the more time we put in, the more effort we put in, the more people we reach out to, and the more we do it with confidence, the sky's the limit. We can all be extremely successful. Does anyone have any questions, thoughts, concerns? Yeah, you're all ready to go? All right, well, I'm on the chat. If you need anything, if you have any questions, if anything comes up, please, you know to reach me, reach out to me, tag me, private message me. If you want to private message me, that's fine. And with Hashem, you should have a lot of success, and we should only be hearing good news as we go through this process.
Simcha, could we make a goal that the girls could, like in the next week, try to get to a certain amount?
Well, so I think every person should try to take in a goal of $5,000, and it may take them a week, it may take them 2 weeks. You might be able to do it in a day if you take an entire day, and just dedicate it to this campaign. It doesn't have to be complicated, but it does require. It's like a field. You have to plant and plow and sow and reap and harvest. So um it takes time and effort.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So much.
My
Thank you.
pleasure.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Bye.
Take care.
Thank you, Simcha. Thank you, everyone.